Okay, what if I told you that one of the sweetest, most delicious fruits you can eat has a shockingly small effect on your blood sugar? We are talking about the pomegranate today, and we're going to crack the code on its amazing, delicious paradox.
So, let's set the stage here. When you look at pure sugar content, pomegranates are right up there with fruits we know are super sweet, like mangoes and bananas. Now, logic would tell you that all of them should send your blood sugar soaring, but is that what really happens?
And just a quick refresher for everyone, when we say blood sugar spike, we're talking about that really fast jump in glucose right after you eat something. You know, for anyone tracking their metabolic health, keeping these spikes on the lowdown is pretty much the name of the game.
Which brings us to the big experiment. What actually happens when you eat a good amount, say 250 grams, of pomegranate? Now, given how sugary it is, you'd be forgiven for expecting a pretty big number. But the reality, well, it's pretty surprising.
22. That's it. That's the number. The blood sugar increase was only 22 milligrams per deciliter. I mean, let's just let that sink in for a second. For a fruit this sweet, that number is incredibly, incredibly low.
In fact, it's not just low, it's a record breaker. This result officially became the new benchmark in the entire study they were running. So this wasn't just a good outcome, it was literally the best they had ever seen from any fruit, period.
And just to give you some context here, the previous champion for the lowest spike was muskmelon, which clocked in at 27 milligrams. Pomegranate didn't just beat it, it set a whole new standard. So the big question is, how? How is this even possible?
And this, right here, is the heart of the paradox. You've got high sugar on one hand, but this super low blood sugar response on the other. It seems to completely defy logic. So what's the secret? What is pomegranate's hidden superpower?
Well, the answer is beautifully simple. It's not in the juice, it's not in the pulp, it's in the part of the pomegranate we don't even really think about most of the time, the seeds.
See, it all comes down to what we're calling the fiber factor. Pomegranates are absolutely packed with fiber. And guess where most of it is? Yep, in the seeds. And here's the key difference. Unlike with, say, an orange or an apple, when we eat pomegranates, we actually eat the seeds. We don't throw them away.
So what's all that fiber doing? Well, you can think of it like hitting the brakes on sugar absorption. It physically slows down how quickly your body can take in all that sugar from the fruit, so instead of getting this sudden jolt, this big spike to your system, you get a much slower, much more manageable release of energy. The spike just doesn't happen.
Okay, so we've solved the pomegranate paradox. Awesome. But the real power of this discovery, it isn't just about one fruit. What happens when we take this pomegranate principle and start applying it to other foods?
Let's take the mango, for instance. We all love it, it's delicious, but it's famous for causing a pretty significant blood sugar spike. We're talking around 40 milligrams in this experiment series. It's the classic example of a high-sugar, low-fiber fruit. So can we use what we just learned to fix the mango problem?
This leads to a really fascinating idea, a new hypothesis. What if we basically re-engineer our snack? We start with that high-sugar mango, but then we intentionally add back the missing piece, fiber. What if we just paired it with a handful of nuts and seeds? Could we create our very own pomegranate effect?
I mean, the potential here is just huge. The prediction is that by simply adding that fiber, that 40 milligram spike from the mango could literally plummet down into the low 20s. That is cutting the blood sugar impact by nearly half, just by adding some seeds.
And that right there is the big takeaway from all of this. This isn't just about pomegranates, it's a principle. By strategically pairing any fruit with a good source of fiber, we suddenly have this powerful, simple tool to manage our body's response to sugar. It could be a total game changer.
So it really leaves us with this final provocative thought. Could something as simple as a handful of seeds or nuts be the key? The key to unlocking a healthier way to enjoy all the fruits we love, but without that dramatic blood sugar roller coaster? It's a pretty powerful idea, and it all started by cracking the code of the pomegranate paradox.